Hello, welcome back. Today we will deep dive into Dialogs feature of UraniumUI. So let me introduce Dialogs feature of UraniumUI. Dialogs feature provides an abstraction over dialogs to show user and with two different implementations, one for Community Toolkit and one for mop-ups. And with the new version, it provides a default implementation. So let me show. The article shows us how to build your custom pop-ups without any custom implementation, without any plugin or NuGet package. Thanks to Red to show us how to do that. But in that logic, you just push a regular content page as model over your existing page and change the background color as semi-transparent, and it seems like pop-ups. But it's not a native way to open pop-ups, but it seems exactly the same as pop-up. Also, pop-ups does exactly the same thing. It sets a semi-transparent background and shows real content over it. So you can build your custom pop-ups with following this article, but you don't have to care about it because UraniumUI already did it for you. So let's continue. But before we go, I want to show you the problem of displaying alerts, displaying models, or displaying pop-ups problems in MAUI. So let's get started with problems. I will create a new project, also a new UraniumUI blank template project, because I want to pass setup process. We will skip setup process and start coding. I won't use any icons, I won't use any Dialogs implementation, because in the latest version we have a default implementation without using any package. But if you still want a native model, you can use mop-ups or Community Toolkit, but default implementation enough for beginning. So we created a new project from template, so that means a couple of configurations are done. First one is UraniumUI.material package already added. I use preview version, which is the latest version, but the latest version uses the latest MAUI version. Probably I won't compile it, I can't compile it. Yeah, it says different project versions used. UraniumUI uses the latest version. So let's set our MAUI version from in our CS brush. Is the latest one. Okay, now I can compile it. Okay, while it's compiling, let me show what is done with this template. In the app XAML page, material styles already configured, and in MAUI program, you can see extension methods already added. So these steps are skipped. Let's start running our application. Okay, application is ready and running. So if you want to open an alert in MAUI, you have to do that in that way. Let's say we have a button. Let's say click me and a click event. In a regular way, you can display alert directly from this page. When I run my application, I will see default alert of MAUI. What? Let's start it from the beginning. Okay, the page is opened, and when I click, you can see alert is displayed. But what happens if I have a view model? Let's say main page, view model. And let's say I have a method that shows alert. I cannot use the same method because this method, display alert method, is defined in page. If you go to declaration of this method, you can see it is defined in page class. So this is in presentation layer. So I can use it in any page, but I cannot use it from somewhere else, any other class, like my vModel, because my vModel doesn't inherit from page. Also, it is not a page, it is a different class. So I cannot use this display alert from my vModel. It's possible with some workarounds, so you can access the current page in MAUI using with application.current.main page. Now you can use display alert because main page provides you the current page, but it is risky because main page isn't always same thing. It can be app shell, it can be a navigation page, it can be tab page, or it can be simple content page. It can be anything, or it can be null. Or if it is an app shell, then you have to access the current page of app shell. Or if it is a navigation page, you have to access the last open page in navigation page to display model. So this is too complex to handle. And also it can be buggy. You can also, Visual Studio says a warning. It can be null. You can add exclamation mark here, then it will throw exception if it is null. You can add question mark here, and if it is null, this won't work. So you cannot make sure it will always work. So what is the solution? Solution is provided by UraniumUI, which is, let me create a constructor. The solution is Dialog Service. You can see it is defined in UraniumUI.dialogs. You can inject it from constructor, so that means my vModel should be resolved from dependency container. So let's go back our MAUI program.cs and add our vModel to services. Main page, vModel here. Also our main page itself. So I can resolve the iDialog service from services and I can use it. So let's add it to a field, assign it to the field, and now I can show dialog by using dialog service. Dialog service, yes. It has a couple of functions here, a couple of methods here. You can use any of them. Let's say confirm. And let's navigate to interface declaration. You can see there are a couple of methods you can use. When I do that, so I have to bind my vModel to my page. I will do it in here. Local is already provided here, so I pass X data type, main page vModel. So this is my type. Sorry. Binding context. I will use UraniumUI injection here. It requires type because it needs type. I will define a type here. Okay. So my injection is completed. I can use a constructor injection here. That's okay. That's complete. Okay. But I want to see injection here for maintainability because I don't want to update a C# file much. So this is my approach. But all of them is okay. I will use the same button. Why did I delete it? I want to use clicked event. I will use command here. Let's say binding. Okay, that means I cannot see my command here because I don't have any command. You can see this is only a simple task. So I can create a new command here, and I can define it and I can initialize it manually, but I won't do that because this is not topic of today. So I will use a couple of dependency to build our vModels easily. Probably you already know we will use Community Toolkit MVVM package. Now I will use those packages in this example today. The first one is bogus, is for creating fake data to our data source. I will use communitoolkit.mvvm to build our vModels. I just updated to latest version of inputkit.maui, but if you use UraniumUI in stable version, you don't have to add it, you don't have to update it. because the stable version uses always the latest version. And I have added data annotations extension of UraniumUI because we will use this data annotation in our models. So we don't have to write any custom validation logic. It will be automatically handled by data annotations. So that's it. But yeah, that's it. Let's add relay command here. If you don't know what that means, you can navigate to documentation of MVVM toolkit. So to use that, I need to make it partial and also observable object. So that's it. Now it generates show dialog command to me. Go back to main page. And you can see show dialog command. When I click that button, you can see the alert is come here. Also, let's run it on Android too in mobile application. Okay, let's wait until it's launching. We can continue to our wheel. I'll add customer data source I have already prepared for you. I have a customer data source which generates a fake data for customer class. Since I don't have customer class, we just do say there's no customer, it's okay. But I have faker. Faker comes from bogus library to create a couple of fake customer data. I will use this in my V model. So that means I need to register this data source to dependency container. Not this one. I want to add this singleton. It doesn't matter, it always generates random data, but I will use it as singleton. So let's check. Okay, Android is running right now. I will go back to my V model. I will add a customer class, but I will add the customer class at the end of this file because I want to show you all of them at the same time. So I add a new customer here. Let's say customer. I don't make it observable right now. We will make it later when we need. It will have a name here. It will have, let's say, email. And we will have a customer type. Let's say type. Yes, not regular premium. Let's say none is default value. And individual. Company is okay. Or maybe corporate. Yeah, that's better. I need some attributes because we will use validation later. And this is also email address. Yes. It requires initial values. Okay, I will add initial values. So that's it. So this is already in. Okay. So that's it. I have a customer and this faker creates a random list of customers. So I will inject customer data source to my V model. This will be a complete example, so I will use real data and show how to use dialogs, and I will show the power of dialogs. Let's say load customers. I want to use something like that. Let's say I get result from customers. I need a list to bind customers to UI. I will use an observable collection here. Customer. Let's say it customers. I'll clear the first because I will use the same instance always because it is an observable collection. I won't change the instance. Okay. Let's add items one by one. Not this one. Customers add item. Exactly. When my main page view model is initialized, I will load all the customers to the list. Let's run our application in Android first, then we will create a data grid to show our customers. Sorry, we are missing something. Yeah, this is mistakenly added to view model. I just deleted it and it will be running right now. It still compiles. Okay, while we're waiting, okay, it's running. I have a lot of test application here. You can see Dialogs is visible in light theme like that. Okay, I'm stopping it. And let's go back to our main page. I will add a data grid here, but I have already created, because data grid is not the topic of today. I will create a data grid just real quick. Okay, I have these columns. Sorry, because I missed something for columns. Okay. I have a data grid which defines 3 columns, and I bind customers property. You can see customers property my view model as item source, and I define columns for name, email, and type. And also I hide email in the mobile, in the phones, because data grid is too wide to show in mobile phones. But I don't suggest using data grid in mobile phones since it's not a good experience. Maybe you should use collection view and a custom and fancy items in mobile, because data grid isn't a good approach for mobile phones. But you can see email isn't visible in the mobile phones, but when I run it in desktop, because default is true visibility of this column, this will be visible on the desktop. Let's start using dialogs. I want to add a delete button at the end of line here. So I want to use a dialog that confirms user, are you sure about deleting this line? I'll add another column here. Let's say material data grid column, not phone. I will pass title maybe actions, and I will pass a custom template. Let's say cell template. Since it is a template, I'll use data template here, and I will add a horizontal step layout because I'll add a couple of actions. The first action is deleting logic. So let me use the existing command here. The button text is delete. It is just styling option. It is a text button. We will use entire line object, which is dot here, as command parameter, and it will be a delete command in my main page view model. If you don't know what that means, enclosure type relative source, you can just search for it and visit the documentation of .NET MAUI. So let's continue. We need to add a delete command to our view model, which gets the entire line item, which is customer here, as parameter. So let's create a relay command. Async task deleted. Okay, because command is generated by community toolkit MVM. So first I need to ask the user, are you sure? let's say await dialog service confirm async. Are you sure to delete? Maybe we can make it better. Let's say title is delete. A message is are you sure to delete customer. I'll add the customer name. Are you sure to delete customer name? Yes or no? Maybe probably default values are okay, not yes or no. Okay. Maybe confirmation message can be action name itself. All the rest of them is cancelled. If user accepts, because confirm async method returns a boolean, I can use it like that, and I can delete customers. I can delete customer, remove customer from the customers collection. So let's check if it's working. You can see delete action came here. I want to delete the case here. You can see. Are you sure you want to delete case pouch? When I hit delete, it is deleted. Let's say Jenny Smith. I'm not sure. When I hit cancel, and it is not deleted. So this is confirmation model here. So let's continue. Continue with adding new item to the data grid. So before we do that, I'll add another container here, which includes add button. Or let me use the existing style. Okay. I will use a border which has style surface container and rounded. Surface container brings a background color, a fancy background color, and rounded makes it really rounded. The name explains itself. My button will be field button, and text is new, and I will use command as I don't have a command yet, but I will use add command name here. I will use horizontal option start. So I need to add a command, which is add. Let's navigate back our view model and add another relay command here. Task, again we will use task. Add is okay. We don't have any command parameter, so I will leave it empty. So in here, we will use a fancy feature of Dialog Service. Dialog Service display FormView async. In that logic, you can pass a view model to Dialog Service, and Dialog Service will create a form according to your view model properties. So how it can be possible? Let me show another feature of UraniumUI in the latest version, which is Auto FormView. With Auto FormView, you can just use Auto FormView in your pages and pass source as a binding context, as a view model. In that case, let's say this is your view model, and you can pass the entire view model with dot here. When you pass the parameter like that, it will automatically generate the best form according to type of each property. You can see a checkbox for boolean, text fields for strings, this selection item for enums, or datetime picker for datetimes, etc. You can even change mapping of this. You can change editor for string, or you can change editor for any other type, or you can add new types for your custom requirement with configuring AutoFormView options in your program.cs file. So it's optional, and editor mapping uses type as key. So you can use this customization. So it's so flexible. You can use your even own property name mapping, or you can use even your custom layout. You can see you can use grid layout, or you can use flex layout. You can use whatever you want here as a layout. So you can easily customize it. So we won't use it directly. We will use compatibility of dialogs. You can see it supports dialogs. We will use this display FormView async method, and it will automatically generate a pop-up with that auto FormView. So my view model is already customer here. So as a title, I pass new customer. Oh, that's good, but I won't use that. And I can pass a view model, or I can leave it empty and type here my type. In that way, if I pass type parameter here and don't pass anything here, so it will try to resolve this type from dependency container. So if my view model will resolve something from my dependency container, so I cannot create new here. It's too much painful. So I can use this logic. But in that case, I don't have any constructor here because I haven't registered this customer to my dependency container. So I will use just simple new customer as my binding context. So let's say result and await the result from user. And if result isn't null, I will add this new customer to customers collection. So let's see how it's working. We already used that add command in our UI. You can see there's new button here. You can see it's created a new form according to my binding context, according to my view mode. But you can see validation doesn't work. It created an empty registry. But we already added required attributes and email address attributes to our model, but it doesn't work because data annotations, the data annotations feature isn't supported by default in UraniumUI. So that's why we added this extension package, but we haven't configured it yet. So in the documentation, in the AutoFormView documentation, you will see this configuration. If you use data annotation package, you have to configure it like that. So let's go our program.cs file and configure the validations. Also, this feature not related to Dialogs, this feature related to AutoFormView. So it automatically applies to AutoFormView usage of your application. So after doing that, I will run it again. When I click OK, you can see the validations are working right now. Let's add my credentials here. Let's say corporate. You can see all the fields are added here and visible in the DataGrid. So I can delete it immediately. So this is usage of AutoFormView with Dialog feature. So let's continue. I will add another button to my UI here, which is changing type. I will change type with model. The text is change type, and it will use change type command here in my view model. So navigate back to our view model and add another relay command. Public async task. I don't implement edit yet. We sent entire object, which is customer, as command parameter, so I can get customer from here. So let's say Dialog Service display RadioButton prompt async. Change type, selected type, and get values, cast object. We won't cast object. Okay, it's not good implementation. Let's pass parameters one by one. First two parameters. First parameter is for message. Message is, let's say, not change type. Select a type for custom. Okay. This is our message. We have a selection source. A selection source will be this enum value list, so we can use enum get values with generic parameter. Okay, and we can pass a selected value. Of course, I will pass selected value because the customer existing type should be selected in the model. Rest of them are visual stuffs, for example, accept button text or cancel button text. Also, it has a display member. If I pass a class list instead of enum list, I can pass display member name. For example, if I pass customer list, I can pass name as display name because model cannot render entire class. Or it will just call toString method of your class. It will return automatically an enum for us. You can see it returns customer type, so I will make it equals directly. I need to await the result. Okay. Let's check what is happening. You can see change type is here. When I hit, you can see individual is selected, and when I change it and save it, it is changed, but we cannot see in the UI. So what you can do about it, because our customer is a regular class and it doesn't invoke anything when a property changed. So we have to change it to observable object and make it partial. We have to use observable property. This is usage of MVVM toolkit. I will define string here with lowercase name, but I will move required attribute. But when I define required attribute to field, it won't affect the UI because it is not property, it is field. So to move this required attribute to generated property, because you can see name property is generated by MVVM toolkit and it is a real property. You can see the source. But I want to pass this required attribute to property. So you can use property a keyword to move this attribute to property. So go on. Let's go on. I will add another observable property. I will add required. Also, I will add email address attribute, and I will use email. Sorry, it's not property. Okay. And same thing for type. Let's remove property logic here, and let's say this is an observable property. So in this logic, all three properties are observable. So if I change one of them, it will be automatically updated in the UI. Well, let's see how it's working. Okay, so the first one is corporate, and I want to change the type. When I hit change type, corporate is already selected, and I will make it none. And when I save it, you can see it is none right now. I can change all of them one by one. That is usage of RadioButton model, RadioButton dialog. So let's add another field, another property to our customer. Let's say terms. I will create another observable property, string, not string, list of string. Not list of, let's say observable collection, string, and terms. I will keep the terms of that customer accepted. Well, let's add another button for terms. say select terms command. So I will create another method which gets entire customer as command parameter. Now we get back to our view model. I will create another relay command here. And I will show how to use checkbox dialogs. I'm not sure this is good approach, so I will clear all of them. Change terms. The name is correct. Okay. I will show Dialog Service display checkbox prompt async. You can say this is also generic type, generic return type. So I can pass message, selection source, selected items, and rest of them are same. Message is select terms. And let me create a constant for our terms. Okay, this is our terms, static and real, not static, but read only. Maybe making static is much more better. Okay, we have static read only terms. I will pass a new terms list as selection source, and I want to make them selected, make customer terms as selected in the model. I will pass customer.terms as selected items in the model. So let's await the user action. Let's assign it to a variable term selected, and if term selected is not null, so I can update it. Since I cannot set it directly because it is an observable collection and I have to use always the same instance, so unfortunately I will clear terms first and add new terms manually. Of course, there can be a better way to do that, but I want to show just dialog demonstration here. Sorry, we don't show terms in the data grid right now. Let's run it and I will show it later. Okay, you can see there's a terms button here. When I hit that button, you can see there's a checkbox list, but nothing is selected because the user doesn't have any term selected. So I checked all of them, but when I open it again, they are selected, but I cannot see terms in the data grid. Since this is a list, I just show only number of terms. So I will use binding here, terms dot count, yeah, and I will use string format here. Count is parameter here, and terms the button name, I will wrap it to braces. So you can see the number of terms that user has. So when I choose two of them, you can see terms are 2 here. You can use checkbox prompt like that. So this is easiest way to pick multiple data at the same time. And the next one is editing our customer. Let's add another button for edit. There's no string format here. I will use same parameter. I will just change the command name. Let's say edit, the biggest one. I'll go back my view model and add another relay command here. Let's say public async task. Just edit, not command. Just edit, and it gets customer as parameter. Probably correct, but let's write it from the beginning. So in dialog service, we will use display FormView again, but in that case, we will use the existing item because we want to show model as pre-filled with existing customer data. So I will use the existing customer as vModel in my model. So let's wait result with await, and let's assign it to a field. This is not field also. This assign it to a variable. If it is not null, if result is not null, so is not null, I couldn't make it. Yeah, if it is not null, let's update customer properties. You can use mapping here, but I will go with primitive way. That's the simple logic. Let's see how it works, because there's something missing, a logical problem. When I try to edit this, you can see everything is pre-filled here, and all the data is correct. It comes from line, DataGrid line. You can see. But when I start to edit, you can see I changed individual, I changed to none. I don't know, can you see? But here it changed in real time. When I change the name, it changed in real time. But what happens if I cancel? It doesn't matter, because I use the customer as binding context of this model. So it doesn't matter if I click OK or cancel, because it directly changes properties of this customer. So I don't want to change the properties of this customer, so I will create new customer as editing vModel. Maybe this can be more explaining. Let's say editing view model, a new customer. Yes. We don't update terms. It doesn't matter here. I pass a new object because I don't want to update my original properties real time. So I will use a proxy class here. And when everything finished, I will copy properties from this class to my customer again. So in that way, when I hit cancel, I just ignore the result. I just ignore this customer object and continue. And garbage collector will take care about it. It's opened with existing data. When I change, nothing happens in the data grid. Let's edit the first item. You can see nothing happens on the data grid because my binding context, my vModel, is new class that isn't included in data grid. So I can do whatever I want. I cannot submit because the validation isn't passed. Let's type a valid email and hit OK. You can see I can edit like that. So this is the power of dialogs of UraniumUI. You can build your data grid with easily, because we don't have to create any other UI. We have only one single data grid and we complete all the operations with Dialog service. But it isn't finished. Let's go back our main page and I will show another feature of Dialog service. Well, let's add another button. We cannot add because border can get only one content. So let's add horizontal stack layout. Let's say show, let's say about. Let's say text button. Okay. I will use event handler because I don't want to define any view in my vModel. My vModel should be independent. Okay, we can remove this one because it's not used. In here, I will open another dialog with custom view, because sometimes dialog servers cannot cover your situation, cannot cover your requirements, so you may want to create a custom model. So let's implement our Dialog service to our page. Since this page resolved from dependency container, so you can inject it here too. And dialog service, I'll make it async. Dialog service display view async. In that way, you can pass a title, you can pass a view as a content, and you can pass close button text. Maybe you can call it OK. Let's say about. I will create a new view here. New, let's say vertical stack layout. I will add a new label, not hello from UraniumUI. Let's say version 1.0. Add a divider, not divider, box view with style class divider. And I'll add another label, let's say last checked date time now. So that's it. This is my custom view, custom vertical stack layout, and I pass it to display view method. Say close. So I will run my application, and when I hit about button, I will see a custom model, custom dialog with my view. I say about, and you can see version and last check. There's no padding. Maybe you can make it more fancy, adding a padding. You cannot. Okay, I have that children property here to cover this situation. Okay. What happened? It is working. When I hit about, you can see my custom content is displayed in the dialog. So you can build your custom models with dialog service still, if it doesn't cover your situation. So that's it. This is the power of dialogs of UraniumUI. By the way, dialogs isn't related to material. You can use them by just adding UraniumUI core package. That's okay. It's not related to material. You can just use core package of UraniumUI and use dialogs without without adding all the material package to your application. So that's it. That is the deep dive session of dialog service and dialog feature of UraniumUI. If you have a question, you can type below. Thank you for watching. See you in the next session.